They thought King Harris was just another celebrity kid until cops opened his car and everything changed. Imagine being born into fame, but cursed to repeat your father's mistakes. That's the story of King Harris. Breaking. T.I.'s son thought he was untouchable, but one police stop exposed everything. From baby showers to bench warrants, this is how King Harris's life spiraled in just 2 weeks. They couldn't find anything on him, or so King Harris thought. He was driving wild through the streets, acting like he was untouchable. He laughed off the idea of getting searched. But his reckless driving wasn't the only problem. When police opened the car, what they found turned everything upside down. The body cam footage changes the whole story. On October 14, 2024, 20-year-old King Harris, son of rap star T.I., didn't know he was being filmed. That video later spread online and brought attention back to his past legal trouble. About 2:50 p.m., King was in a black BMW and made a risky left cut across 3 eastbound lanes after leaving a BP on Chamblee-Dunwee Road in Dunwee, Georgia. The move nearly clipped a Dunwee PD cruiser driven by Officer J.D. McGreer, the same officer who had just pulled out of the gas station seconds earlier. Officer McGreer saw the near miss, turned on his lights, and made the stop. The official reason logged was failure to yield when entering a roadway, a misdemeanor under Georgia law. But things didn't stop at a traffic ticket. When McGreer approached the BMW, he smelled fresh marijuana and noticed a black handgun in plain view on King's left hip. The gun was a loaded Glock 19 and quickly became the focus of the stop. King's behavior at that moment was cooperative. He handed over his driver's license and registration without arguing. When asked about the gun, he said it was his and that he had a Georgia weapons carry license. McGreer removed the firearm and placed it on the patrol car hood. Because the gun was legally possessed, no firearm charges were filed. A routine records check, though, uncovered something bigger: an active Pickens County bench warrant for failure to appear, tied to a 2022 incident King hadn't resolved. Back on August 30, 2022, when King was 17, he was arrested in Pickens County for speeding, knowingly driving on a suspended license, and driving under the influence of drugs. Officers at that stop reported signs of impairment and the smell of weed. King was released on bond, but missed multiple court dates, including a key hearing in September 2024. Because he failed to appear, Pickens County Superior Court issued a bench warrant on September 18, 2024. That warrant stayed active until his October traffic stop, when King realized the seriousness of his situation and was placed in the back of a patrol car. He was taken to Dalb County Jail for booking at about 3:30 p.m., and the next morning, he was transferred to Pickens County because that's where the warrant originated. During the search related to the arrest, officers also found 2 small bags of a green, leafy substance, believed to be marijuana, totaling less than 1 ounce inside the BMW. King wasn't alone. 2 adult passengers were in the car. One passenger was cited for possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana. The other was not cited. The timing made the arrest even more striking. Weeks earlier, King and his girlfriend Jania Nana Epps had hosted a big gender reveal and baby shower in Atlanta. T.I. had announced on Hot 107.9 radio in September 2024 that King was expecting his first child, a son. As fans pointed out, the news of impending fatherhood and the public celebration made the arrest feel especially ironic, a reminder that choices now could affect King's ability to be there for his child. King Harris Jr. came into the world on Halloween night, October 31, 2024, just over 2 weeks after his father's arrest. But for King Harris Sr., fatherhood arrived at a time when his legal and personal troubles were only getting deeper. The viral arrest footage, released nearly a year later in August 2025, reignited public talk about a long-running pattern of risky behavior and poor decisions that had already worried his family for years. Adding to the story was King's close friendship with Tootie Raw, the son of rapper Boosie Badass. Despite the tension and public feuds between their fathers, King and Tootie formed a tight bond, united by shared struggles as young men growing up in hip-hop royalty. Both had seen fame early, both had felt pressure, and both had found trouble. Their friendship first made headlines in 2022 when they were arrested together in Georgia for misdemeanor weed possession during a traffic stop. Fast forward to September 2025, and that parallel between their lives only grew stronger. Tootie Raw was arrested in Atlanta after a late-night chase through the Vine City neighborhood. Around 2 a.m., officers tried to stop a car he was riding in, but Tootie ran. When police caught him, they reportedly found multiple illegal weapons, a Glock with an illegal switch, a sawed-off shotgun, a rifle, and other modified firearms. King's reaction was emotional and immediate. Within hours, he posted on Instagram, "I'm doing my best to get you out, twin." In a follow-up video, King appeared visibly upset, blaming controversial commentator Charleston White for allegedly tipping off police. "Man, y'all making it seem like I'm doing too much," he said. "My bro got arrested. I got things going on, man. Y'all stay out of my business." Meanwhile, King's own legal situation wasn't over. Court records show that after posting a $2,500 bond in Pickens County on October 15, 2024, he was released, with a new court date set for November to deal with his 2022 charges. But that case would prove to be just another chapter in a story filled with bad timing, public controversy, and missed chances to turn things around. By late 2024, chaos seemed to follow King everywhere. Despite becoming a father, he was still caught up in constant drama, from family clashes to online feuds. His October arrest had already drawn attention, but the months that followed made things even messier. In December 2024, TikTok and X, formerly Twitter, lit up with rumors that King wasn't the biological father of his newborn son. Some posts even claimed T.I. had secretly ordered a DNA test and that it came back negative. The story spread fast, and fans couldn't stop talking. King's sister, Zanique, quickly clapped back on X, writing, "LOL, what street this word come off of Chile?" The post went viral, with fans applauding her sarcastic take on the rumor's absurdity. Soon after, Tiny Harris publicly defended her son, calling the claims completely false. King himself also addressed the gossip in a joint Instagram live with his girlfriend, Jania. Laughing, he said, "Everything the world say about me is a lie." When asked if he planned to sue anyone, he brushed it off, joking that the people spreading rumors were broke anyway. Jania added lightheartedly that their baby looked exactly like King, same face, just different hair. But rumors and arguments weren't new to King. His reputation had already been shaped by a series of viral moments, confrontations, and feuds, especially his now famous beef with comedian Drewski. That feud began in early 2024 when King accused Drewski of stealing his catchphrase, "standing on business," for a music video promo. The phrase had become a big part of King's image, especially after his heated family argument with T.I. in 2023 where he had shouted, "I stand on business." When Drewski appeared on The Breakfast Club in February 2024 and was asked about King's threats, he laughed it off. "Hell nah, but he cool though." He joked that King had even shown up to his video shoot trying to stare him down, standing on top of his car like he was literally standing on business. King's comeback was classic internet gold. He fired back in a fiery Instagram rant, roasting Drewski's appearance with brutal one-liners. He called him wide-body Hellcat hips and said he was built like a punch buggy with wheelchair legs. The post went viral instantly, turning their argument into one of the most talked-about celebrity feuds of the year. Through all of it, the arrests, the rumors, the beefs, and the new baby, King Harris remained a figure who fascinated fans and frustrated family. His story reads like a modern hip-hop cautionary tale, a young man with fame, money, and legacy at his fingertips, still struggling to find stability and purpose under the weight of his father's shadow. King Harris's talent for comedy might have been unexpected, but it didn't go unnoticed. After one of his fiery online rants, Charlemagne the God even joked on The Breakfast Club that King might have a future in stand-up. His delivery was raw, sharp, and wild lines like, "Hey Drewski, you and your cholesterol need to calm down. You and them wide-body Hellcat hips need to relax," quickly became internet gold. He followed up with another shot, "Can't believe this dude called me pussy, and I just saw him run from Birdman a couple weeks ago." It was pure entertainment, funny, biting, and brutally creative. But beneath the jokes and viral moments, King's constant feuds revealed something deeper, a young man still figuring out who he is, often using humor and bravado to mask frustration. The most dramatic moment came not from a celebrity beef, but from inside his own family. On November 26, 2023, at an Atlanta Falcons game, King got into a heated argument with his parents, T.I. and Tiny. The fight, broadcast live on King's Instagram, quickly went viral, racking up millions of views. It started as a debate about King's upbringing. King claimed he'd grown up tough, having to fight his way through real struggles. T.I. and Tiny pushed back, saying he'd been raised with privilege and opportunity. Tiny grabbed King's phone mid-live stream, teasing him about childhood habits that clearly embarrassed him, while T.I. questioned what King really knew about hardship. Things escalated fast. King appeared to shove or gesture toward Tiny, and T.I. stepped in, putting his son in a headlock and shouting, "You're embarrassing yourself." The moment was raw, awkward, and unforgettable, a family argument playing out in real time inside a luxury suite filled with leather seats and Falcons memorabilia, while a game played in the background. Hours later, King doubled down on social media, posting and deleting stories where he defiantly declared, "I stand on business. I don't care who you are. Ain't nobody playing with me. I'm a grown man." But that wasn't the end of the family tension. Less than a year later, in September 2024, T.I. and Boosie Badass surprised their sons King and Tootie Raw during a music video shoot. The fathers confronted them for using real firearms as props, worried their sons were glamorizing a lifestyle that wasn't real and could get them hurt. King later laughed off the situation on Instagram Live, trying to clarify the misunderstanding. "Y'all ain't never seen me post no guns ever. I don't even own one. This is for entertainment only." He explained that everything in the video was planned and staged, adding that becoming a father had made him rethink his choices. Still, King's struggles went beyond image or perception. T.I. has spoken openly about his son's battles with substance use, describing King as a kind, good-hearted person when sober, but someone whose decisions often spiral when he's not. Despite family interventions and repeated attempts to steer him right, the cycle of chaos kept repeating. To really understand why, you have to look at where he comes from, the legacy he inherited. Both T.I. and Tiny Harris have lived much of their lives under the public microscope. Their successes in music and television are matched by their controversies, legal problems, and high-profile disputes. In many ways, King's story mirrors theirs, a mix of fame, pressure, and turbulence passed down through generations. T.I.'s history, in particular, casts a long shadow. For more than 2 decades, he's been a central figure in rap, not just for his hits, but also for his run-ins with the law. The parallels between father and son are hard to ignore. T.I.'s most serious legal trouble came in October 2007, just hours before the BET Hip Hop Awards. He was arrested for possessing unregistered machine guns, silencers, and ammunition, all while being a convicted felon. It was a career-threatening moment that could have ended with years behind bars. Ultimately, T.I. pleaded guilty in March 2008 to federal weapons charges. He was sentenced to probation, ordered to complete 1,500 hours of community service, and fined $100,000. Sentencing was delayed long enough for him to finish promoting his next album, a move that showed how deeply intertwined his art, his fame, and his legal life had become. And so, as King Harris's story unfolds, with its mix of humor, chaos, and defiance, it's impossible to separate it from the family legacy behind it. He's not just another celebrity kid in trouble. He's a reflection of the same turbulence that once shaped his parents' world, only now his every move plays out live, in front of millions. Where he grew up, he worked hard to give them a life of comfort and opportunity. But that privilege became its own kind of problem. King often feels misunderstood, like people question his toughness or authenticity because he didn't grow up struggling the way his father did. And that's the tragic irony. T.I.'s success, the very thing meant to give his kids a better life, has also created a divide. King's attempts to prove himself often seem forced or exaggerated, especially in the eyes of both critics and his father, who sees a young man chasing a version of realness he never had to live. While Tiny Harris, King's mother, doesn't share T.I.'s long rap sheet, she's faced her own share of public controversy. The most damaging accusations against the couple surfaced in 2021, when several women came forward claiming T.I. and Tiny had run a sex cult, like Operation between the early 2000s and 2010s. The women accused them of drugging, coercion, and assault, stories that sparked an LAPD investigation, though no criminal charges were filed due to limited evidence and expired statutes of limitation. The allegations were both shocking and detailed. Several women described being invited to exclusive parties linked to T.I.'s brand 410, where they claimed they were given drinks laced with drugs and pressured into sexual acts. The situation escalated when Sabrina Peterson, a former friend of the couple, took to Instagram in January 2021 to accuse T.I. of physical abuse, including pistol whipping and forced drug use, while alleging that Tiny enabled the behavior. In the months that followed, more women, from Las Vegas to Miami, came forward with similar stories. Their attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, pushed for an official investigation, calling the pattern of abuse methodical and sadistic. The LAPD did open a criminal probe, but ultimately closed it in September 2021, citing a lack of sufficient evidence. Then, in July 2025, the controversy reignited. Sabrina Peterson resurfaced online with new, explosive claims, accusing the Harris family of sex trafficking, forced drugging, and prostitution. For the first time, she alleged that King himself was connected, sharing supposed private messages and claiming victims were passed along to him and other family members, allegations that, once again, threw the entire Harris family into chaos and public scrutiny. In July 2025, Sabrina Peterson claimed she had new evidence against the Harris family. She said the information came from a victim's family and described it as part of a fresh civil case. Peterson even promised to release sex trafficking receipts on July 19, 2025, but that public reveal never actually happened. T.I., true to form, brushed off the accusations with a calm but cutting response. Instead of addressing the claims directly, he posted a video saying, "It's a beautiful day to not be a buster, man. A beautiful day to not hate on nobody. A beautiful day to mind your business. Don't spread propaganda just because you're unhappy with your life." Beyond the legal battles, the Harris family has long lived under a storm of public attention and controversy, the kind that shapes how a child sees the world. And for King, growing up in that environment has been nothing short of complicated. Tia has often said he wanted to protect his kids from the same rough street life he survived. His intentions are clear. He doesn't want his children to make the same mistakes he did. But his approach has sometimes been as controversial as the lessons he's trying to teach. For King, childhood was anything but ordinary. He's seen his father go from federal prison to platinum records, from probation hearings to award shows. He's watched his parents face serious criminal allegations while still managing to run businesses and appear on reality TV. When you grow up in a world like that, where FBI raids are part of the story and legal problems don't necessarily end careers, your sense of what's normal starts to shift. For King, the line between consequence and comeback has always been blurred. In many ways, he's learned that trouble doesn't have to mean the end. In his eyes, it can even become part of your story, something that adds authenticity and toughness, just like it did for his father. T.I. has made it clear that he raised King in privilege, the opposite of his own childhood in Atlanta's Bankhead neighborhood. But instead of making King feel grateful, that privilege seems to have left him feeling disconnected and misunderstood. He's constantly trying to prove that he's real, chasing a sense of credibility that he never had to earn the hard way. Tiny, meanwhile, has always defended her son. She's called him a good damn boy and told critics to back off, insisting he only reacts when provoked. But her own controversies, especially her alleged involvement in the scandals surrounding T.I., have only added more pressure to the family's already fragile image. As she once said, "King don't mess with nobody. You gotta mess with him first. If you see him acting up like a damn fool, that means somebody pushed him there." Looking at the Harris family as a whole, one thing becomes clear: their story is built on cycles. Cycles of fame and fallout, of mistakes and redemption. And now, King's life seems to be following that same pattern. The big question is whether he'll break free or continue repeating the same choices that have haunted his parents for years. Only time will tell which version of the story King decides to write for himself.